into the online broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Welcome to another episode of How to Get with Murder. Tonight we are recapping episode 15, the finale for season 2, titled Anime. I'm your host, Jillian Leff. You can tweet me at Jillian Leff. Not during the show, the signals are really bad, but I'll be sure to answer all your tweets after the show. Panel, welcome.
Hi.
Yes.
Introduce yourselves.
Okay.
Totally. Ladies first.
All right. What's up, guys? I'm Sterling Cates. You can find me at Sterling Cates.
Hey guys, I'm JB Zimmerman. You can follow me at Hey John Blake.
Oh my god, I think you're like, introduce yourself. My name is Sterling. Hey. I like to party.
You can do that. We can.
Okay.
Yeah, we have time.
Wait, don't have enough time.
Okay,
actually,
that's true.
unfortunately.
Yeah,
maybe next season.
So this was the finale, obviously. We had a lot of things come to light. Some things maybe Stacy predicted last week, which we'll get to. But first, I want to tell you guys about the show that's actually taking How to Get With Murder's time slot. It's called The Catch, and it's going to start airing on Thursday, March 24th on ABC. And it's premiere of TGIT's twisty new drama called The Catch again.
So mysterious.
Very mysterious. From the executive producers of Grey's Anatomy, Scandal, and our show, How to Get Away with Murder, comes the story of a private investigator and a con man who were never supposed to fall in love. I'm sure you saw the promos
Forbidden
during the
fruit.
show. Exactly. The Catch stars The Killings' Mireille Enois and Parenthood's Peter Krause.
Parenthood?
Loved
I
Parenthood.
love Adam.
Loved it. Enois plays LA's top PI, one woman who you don't want to mess with. So when her fiance, played by Krause, takes her for millions and then disappears, she will stop at nothing to catch her man. Game on.
Nice.
As her hunt begins, it quickly turns into an intoxicating and clever game of cat and mouse. Think of it as Romeo and Juliet kind of love in a sexy, suspenseful James Bond world. You can definitely tell that by the promos. So grab some red wine, get your Twitter thumbs ready, and settle in for TGIT's thrilling, seductive new drama, The Catch, premiering Thursday, March 24th at 10/9 Central on ABC. And I'll probably tune in because this is over. So
I mean,
Well,
you
yeah,
had me at
it's a
Shonda
Shonda
Rhimes.
land, right?
like, what am I going to watch? Yeah, it's part of TGIT. Let's do it.
Everything she
Holla.
touches is gold.
Yeah.
So.
Well, speaking of that, let's talk about tonight. It was funny, before the episode, Shonda tweeted a photo of herself with the Justice statue, and she was like
Ooh,
kind of
nice.
like posing with it. I was like, all right, well, I guess we're in for something tonight.
Yeah.
So I wasn't here last week, but I guess Stacy was right.
Stacey was always on the right bus, and
Totally.
we didn't know.
The Stacy, but I was. She nailed it.
Yeah,
Okay, so fill me in. She came in hot.
Stacey literally was like, I bet Philip was just trying to tell Annalise something, and I really bet that Caleb was behind the whole thing and killed everyone.
That's why
And we
she's
were
not
like,
here, by
yeah,
the way.
that's
She's
the-
on a St. Patrick's Day float, celebrating
Yeah,
the
she's
win,
just celebrating.
the prediction win.
Yeah.
Oh my
We're
gosh,
like,
she's gonna-
oh wow, that really sounds like it makes sense. And then of course that's exactly what happened tonight.
God damn.
She really called
Yeah.
it. Great
I
job,
need to like
Stacey.
text her after the show. Her ego is going to be like, hey.
She's like, I know. Too bad she's not here right now, but that's cool.
So, as Sterling said, Caleb was in fact the murderer, and he killed himself. We can safely assume that. Yeah.
Looks that way.
Looks that way.
I don't know if he's actually dead. I know that like when you do the whole slice of the wrists, your time is limited.
Right.
So I don't know if maybe someone did catch him. I think that if you're like in a warm bathtub, it like makes you bleed out faster.
Right, because the blood thins.
Right.
Right.
Although most people, fun suicide fact.
Oh, tell me.
Because they,
Do
you know,
tell.
in TV shows and movies, they normally go like horizontal,
But
like
that's
with a
not-
slash. That's not how you kill yourself quick. If you really want to get it done, apparently like you go long ways because
Yeah.
it's like more along the veins.
We're not recommending anyone try
Again,
this, but
just saying.
Just JB's vast knowledge of
The
suicide.
more you know. Power.
Or,
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
It's one to grow on.
So I remember earlier in the season, people were tweeting us and, saying that the creator, Pete, said that there would be a death. So I feel like I'm going to safely assume that Caleb is done.
Yes.
Other revelations that happened in this episode. Do we think that Frank killed Wes's dad? Because he was gone.
He was gone.
He was gone.
And that's where my mind went. And
Right.
with this show, they like to pull a bait and switch. So I don't know if that might be too easy, especially if they didn't show Frank doing it or show him in a car or wherever he was.
Right.
Right. Plus, I don't know
'Cause
the
it's in New York.
motivation for that. Like, why would he
Because he killed Annalise's baby.
Because
care?
of him.
Oh, ooh.
Yeah.
Well, that would add up. Touche. Well, then, yeah, no, I mean, now that you brought that to my attention, I
also
totally
this-
think he did it.
Yeah, but also this Wallace guy's tied up in so much other stuff, I'm sure. He could have had someone else after him.
You know what? You're probably
He
right.
could have. I mean, yeah, he seems like a shady
I
dude,
feel
just like
like-
leaving kids
Yeah, and
unattended for
I've-
years. Their
and
entire
raping
lives.
someone and then having their kid. Yeah.
That too.
But I feel like if Frank saw Wes standing right there, he wouldn't shoot his dad's head off.
Yeah.
This
Perhaps
is the
awkward timing, maybe wait until a little bit later.
Also, how quickly could he have gotten to New York? Because remember,
Right.
Wallace is in New York.
Because this is all happening, I'm assuming, in
Yeah.
at the same time. And this is the second. Wes has seen both of his parents die.
Yeah, which
Yeah,
Which is
it's
crazy.
horrible. Like, he has had a terrible
This show hates
upbringing.
I don't even know what I can say about season 3 because if I were to go through something like that, I feel like you have to have a psychotic break at some point.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's been through so much and suppressed so much that I don't know if that therapist is going to come back into play.
Right. I can
But
see that.
all the information that he's found out is so crazy. And then on top of that, finally finding out who his dad is and just wanting to know him because he really wasn't going.
Right.
He wasn't angry when he
Yeah,
approached
he was
him.
definitely not threatening.
He
I
was,
mean,
like,
he was just like,
curious.
I think you're my dad.
Yeah.
Like, let's
Yeah.
find out together, maybe. I mean,
And then now he's the main witness for the death of him, so
Yeah.
he's going to have to be involved in that
Oh
probably.
my God! You think he's gonna have to testify?
He has his like blood all over him. And now it just happens that this random unknown son is the only witness.
right. I can't believe it's not just that he was there, like, in person as they died.
Mm-hmm.
It's, like, it's such a gruesome death. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, we know that his mom committed suicide, but,
Mm-hmm.
like, that's a stab to the neck wound. And then this, like, his head gets blown off.
Yeah,
Like,
and his blood is all
like
over
at
him.
point blank. Like, that is insane. And before, he was holding the knife that, like, killed his mom. So, very,
Poor
very
Wes.
traumatic.
Yeah,
I think
seriously, what
he should definitely see a psychiatrist.
I feel like he was on the upswing. After all that stuff with Annalise, they had a really good talk. I was like, all right, this is going to be like old Wes. He just wants to figure things out. He's going to do this. Also, he definitely tried to put the moves on Laurel again, which I was like,
Yep.
Right.
okay.
Do you think that Wes would have been there though if Annalise hadn't gotten off the radar? Because he was trying to call her and try to get some answers, and then she didn't hear from her, so he just went to New York.
Didn't he go to New York after she came back, or he was already gone?
Well, he hadn't seen her. I don't know.
Oh no! You know
They
what?
never
Bonnie
interacted.
Bonnie sent them home,
and then he went.
Yeah, well, I feel like if I was just as curious, you know where the
There you
guy
go.
works, and
You
Yeah.
know who he is.
let's just see if he comes out after his workday, and I'm gonna wait for him. It's like a very
Yeah.
West thing to do, you know.
Right.
Classic West stakeout.
Classic.
What about that scene where Laurel's looking for Frank? I thought we were going to find Frank dead in several places.
So if Frank, okay,
Yeah.
So if Frank didn't shoot Wes's dad,
Where is he?
where is he? Where do we think Frank is? Because right now we have no preview to base our predictions off of. We will not have a prediction segment in the show. I feel like our whole show is going to be one big prediction.
Yeah.
So if he is not there, where do we think he went?
I think he was involved but didn't kill Mahoney directly. I think he used the money finally to pay someone to kill Mahoney. So, like, full circle back.
Ooh, maybe.
Because it was dirty money. I actually really did appreciate that. Like, finally finding out a little bit more about who Frank was. Because I know
Right.
we had talked about that in the beginning. We sort of saw who Bonnie was in that one episode a little bit longer. But I think it was nice to see that Frank really felt this immense guilt
Right.
all these years and that he was responsible for this. And he didn't spend the money. And as
Yeah.
soon as it cut to the suitcase, the first suitcase, I was like, oh,
Right.
it's the
Yeah.
same money that
Yeah.
the Rebecca suitcase. Like,
Yeah, you
come
called
on.
Yeah.
that.
So I mean, we were all discussing that Sam had something on Frank for Frank to kill Lila. So let's talk about everything that we learned. So he
Yeah.
was behind the car accident that killed
Okay,
Annalise's
so
baby.
the bug leading to the lady.
Yeah,
Leading
so
The lady leading
apparently
to the bug.
the hotel, the promiscuous hotel run-in was the setup. Too good to be true. We all knew that.
Right.
Um,
We were like, dang, Frank's got some swag. But really,
yeah, again, he didn't even,
It's probably the decision that he regrets the most in his life, besides killing Lila, because really we haven't seen him murder anyone else except for her, and
Right.
that was only because he owed Sam.
Yeah, he's been making up for it ever since he went up in that hotel room.
yeah, and he's just had that. He must have like felt the weight of it because he kept the money. It's not like you can not think about a suitcase full of money
Right.
in your place.
Well,
Right.
Like
he
all day,
has been
every day.
acting like a little squirrely lately, and I thought maybe it was because of the Laurel breakup. But if I'm like thinking back now, when Annalise was on painkillers, and I don't know if Bonnie ever told him about like the invisible baby and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, she's been struggling for a really long time with it, and I feel so much relief knowing now that
Yeah.
we know who was behind everything. But I have no idea where Frank could be. The logical sense is like, okay, well, he's a family man. Maybe he went back to wherever his family is.
Like Annalise did.
Right.
Yeah. But I feel like since it's Frank, he went deeper. He could be like underground in a bunker somewhere. I don't know where he is, but he definitely, I think he's going to be gone for a while.
Yeah.
And it might lead to like a pretty dark place for him.
Right. Well, and that's why I think it would make sense for him to be involved from a story standpoint, because then you can loop him back in. Like he
Right.
can be sort of on the lam for a while, and then they're like, "Well, who killed Mahoney?"
And then that's the new secret.
Right.
It's like, oh, well, Frank hired someone to shoot him, and then Wes has a
Yeah.
reason to, feel
Right.
something towards Frank, even though the guy was a bad guy.
Right.
He's a bad dude. If that's how it played out.
Exactly. And for him to keep the money for so long and never use it, it's like, what would you do with it? He took it with him, so it's like either he's living off of it in like the Cayman Islands or something.
Oh, right. You could totally do that.
Which he could do, because he probably shouldn't be around Annalise for a while.
And now the source of the money's dead, so it's
Right.
like,
Yeah.
So my other question is, the last we saw of Annalise and Bonnie, Annalise said, we need to get rid of him, meaning we need to fire Frank, because she had found out that he had killed Lila for Sam, so they were both involved. Did Frank get the phone call and leave, or did Frank just leave?
yeah, that's the thing. We don't know.
Yeah.
I think Bonnie told Frank that. I mean, I think they talked about it because
When they were drinking together?
right.
Right.
I mean, there's like an understanding between them, which is nice. I mean, it was sort of like a mutual respect for like who they are and like where they are as like, kind of cogs in the Annalise
Right.
machine.
Right.
And once the cat was out of the bag with Annalise, like there was no stopping it. There was no more protecting Frank. So I
Right.
think it was just like damage control.
Does Bonnie know about the car accident part, like Frank's involvement with the bugging and the behind the car
See-
accident and all that stuff? Like, did Bonnie tell Annalise
That was unclear to me.
about Frank's involvement in that and her dead child?
He said she said he, so I assume it's either the baby or Sam. But I don't know if it's the baby, because I feel like if they all knew about it, it would be a much bigger deal.
Mhm.
I think that would have crushed Annalise more, and she was in distress, but she wasn't like, oh my God, and then started, filling in the pieces together.
Right.
So
When she said, and they let me believe that I killed him all these years, or whatever it was that she said, that made me think that Bonnie somehow told her about the car accident, or that she knew about it somehow.
yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard for us to figure these things out, guys, because we watched the show and ran in here and started
Right.
filming this. So I feel like maybe we all need to revisit it and
Yeah.
try to figure that out. But if you have any thoughts on it, please feel free to leave a comment below, and also tweet us during the week. Our Twitter handles will flash at the end of the show. So now that you know, Bonnie and Frank had that talk and Bonnie said, don't do something stupid, that to me thinks like, okay, so Frank hired a hitman.
Right.
Because he's not doing anything.
And also, he's not like a skilled shooter by any means. Doesn't
Yeah.
he normally just like
Yeah, we don't know his
drug and-
skills.
yeah.
Sure. He's a thug.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Well, he's a fixer. I mean, I don't know if he's a Marine Scout sniper,
Yeah.
Sure.
but
I think we
you know,
all
doubt
thought
it.
that also.
Yeah.
Just kind of like, oh, like, what's his story?
Oh, I
Like,
totally give
is
Frank
he, like,
the benefit of the
crazy,
doubt.
well-trained, and really he's just like a street kid that they
Yeah.
rescued, which
Yeah.
they mentioned, they played that scene twice. 2 weeks ago, or last week they played that scene, and then this week of him,
About the white
Annalise
trash?
calling him white trash, yeah. So now it just gives us more emphasis and more reason. Like, so
Right.
that comment really pissed him off because I feel like he was debating on whether to bug the room, and that pushed him over the edge.
Right.
She didn't give him the answer he was looking for, and so he was like, "Screw it, I'm gonna."
Well, she's a tough boss. I mean,
Yeah.
she definitely takes her frustrations and stress out on her staff.
And she definitely uses them, but she also takes care of them.
True.
Jeez,
It's a tough relationship.
this was loaded.
Yeah, I'm very anxious to see what's happening with Frank now.
I just can't believe that Caleb was the mastermind behind all of it, and that Catherine is going to testify, and that Philip knew about it because of the Fitbit. I was like,
Oh man.
So Catherine and Caleb were
Technology gets
hooking
it.
up the whole
yeah,
time.
they were heavy petting.
Yeah.
That's what they were doing.
They were more than that. They were
kissing and
like
cuddling.
PG-13
Yeah,
hooking up.
no
Yeah.
sex, but everything else.
Yeah.
like
a lot of
high
hand
school.
stuff.
and she was in love with him.
Yeah, she was in love. Which was crazy to me because we had all said that in the beginning,
Yep.
and then it was sort of like, okay, I guess we're wrong.
Yeah, but we're like,
Yeah.
that's weird.
Yeah.
It
And then
is
we're
weird.
right.
It totally is
Yeah.
weird.
But just, I don't know. I don't know, guys.
Well, yeah, we'll simmer on that for a minute. Real quick, I do want to mention something new with AfterBuzz. We have a brand new show called The Tomorrow Show. They tape twice a week. It is on Mondays and Thursday nights, 9 p.m., I believe. And you guys can also watch it at thetomorrowshow.com.
And some familiar faces, right?
Yes, many. I mean, Kevin Undergaro is on there, which is awesome because he gives a very cool, like, top line producer vision of everything going down. Ashley Daniels, Roxy Stryer. So you guys have probably seen them on various other AfterBuzz shows. Obviously, Kevin recently engaged finally to Maria.
This is sort of his like midlife crisis. He's starting a podcast. He's like,
Exactly.
let's do this.
Well,
guys.
he's locked down the wifey, so what else are you gonna do?
Exactly.
But it's a really cool show. They talk about everything kind of behind the scenes in Hollywood. A lot of good insights and commentary on that stuff. But also they talk about a lot of pop culture things. A lot
They're
of,
actually playing Never Have I Ever tonight.
nice.
And
Ooh,
it's all
that's
Star
perfect.
Wars themed? Star Trek?
Star
themed?
Trek. They wear Star Trek outfits.
nice.
Yes,
Yeah,
they do.
very festive people.
Yeah. So it's 7 to 9 Monday and
Yes,
Thursdays
exactly.
Pacific time.
Yeah, so check it out.
Yeah. So, guys, besides all of those revelations, we need to talk about Cicely Tyson because she's back.
Yes.
She is.
Anna Mae is back. I
Yes.
was like so excited to not hear
Anna Mae.
Annalise. I was like, Anna Mae!
She's the best.
She is so good.
Yeah.
And we love when she's on the show because she adds so much personality to the role and to the show. But we found out something different about her family this episode, her relationship with her father.
Yeah,
Right.
her dad was the first episode we've seen him.
Classic daddy issues.
So,
Got a
do
lot
we
of
think
backstory.
that
Yep.
he had done something else besides just walk out? She seems very scarred from this.
Sounds
Yeah,
like he just
she's-
left.
Yeah,
Which
just
I mean,
disappeared.
if your dad leaves when you're young, I mean that's scarring.
Right. Especially because I feel like he is a nice guy and he like means well. He just probably freaked out and just
Yeah.
like ran away. And I feel like that almost makes it worse. It's not like he was never there. It's that he was and then something happened where he just took off.
This is kind of like hard to say, but some people just aren't kid people
Right.
and they have kids and they don't really know how to have a relationship with them. Maybe this was the case where he had, you know, these two daughters and
Yeah.
he just didn't know what to do.
Well,
Right.
she even brought up. She said flat out, it's not like he ever abused me or anything.
Right.
He just left.
I mean, she was abused by an uncle, right?
Who,
And he
Annalise?
died in a fire, yeah.
Well, the mom said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, her family is all sorts of messed.
Right.
But
Right.
it's nice that they all came together because I think they do genuinely care about her, even if half of it is just being nosy.
Yeah.
Which also I can relate to because if you don't live where your family is, you come home and you're automatically the center of
Right.
attention.
Right.
And it's always just like your show all the time.
Yeah.
So-
which can be a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot, especially when you're Annalise Keating and you're dealing with multiple murders. Also,
Yeah.
keeping the Philip secret from everyone. Like, she was in cahoots with him
That was
the
pretty
entire time,
crazy.
and she only ran away because of the Frank thing. Because that just, like, hurt her so much. She didn't know. She was just distraught from that. But it's kind of crazy that she was keeping that secret the whole time.
It's interesting to think like what she was going to do with that information if that arrest warrant hadn't been issued. You know what I
Sure.
mean? She was just like sitting on it.
Right. Well, I think she was so devastated by this Frank news that she just like paused in her mind. She was just like, I need a minute.
But also her poker face is amazing because that whole time that Nate came, which I really did like, it was the first time that I actually saw them as a normal couple. I don't know if you guys felt that same way.
Yeah.
I was like, this could be a thing, actually.
I love
Yeah.
seeing Nate there and interacting with her family.
Nathaniel. Fine Nathaniel. They were like all over him. Damn. Do you have any babies?
Yeah.
Yeah, my babies.
Okay.
It's fine. Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I just appreciate seeing that other side of Annalise and how she acts. You know, she is kind of a baby. It was a really emotional time for her, and I thought it was also important that her mom she confessed to her mom that she was pregnant, which we didn't, I thought that her
Right.
mom knew.
About
Yeah, I
at
thought
least
so
her being
too.
pregnant,
I mean,
yeah.
or the whole pregnancy. Like that's
Sure,
a long
sure.
time, a lot of life experience to just not mention.
I think she finally got the closure that she needed, though.
Right.
And that was why she decided to leave. You know, she was like, okay, this part of me is done, and I need to move on.
Right.
Interesting that her baby's name was Sam. So I don't know. Do you think that she named it later? Do you think they decided Sam early on, and that's just like how like it was going to be a junior situation?
I think it was
from-
just going to be like a junior situation.
Yeah, I feel like they had decided on it.
Interesting.
I mean,
I feel like they were happy until the baby situation happened, and then that was like kind of the where it all went.
I think it
crashing.
was a little weird between them, only because that scene where Annalise's phone rang and Eve was like, "Who's that?" and she said someone else, but she's like, "No, I wish it was Sam." So like, there's some sort of like disconnect there,
Right.
and Sam ignored a call because he was with Bonnie
Yeah.
and listening to like her therapy session. So maybe we'll find out more about that.
Right.
But it just, you know, I don't know. It was-
Well, I mean, there is definitely secrets between them. Obviously, Sam Senior is holding Frank's secret now, which is a huge one involving Annalise. So even if there were differences in terms of them like wanting to try again with the baby, and like one of them didn't, one of them did, that secret I think would create a lot of resentment.
Right.
Or could. And also, like, I mean, just a tragedy like that totally, like, can shake people out of whatever
Right.
they had.
It's hard to recover from.
I feel like
This episode was sad for me. Like, I left feeling sad.
we obviously found things, it was crazy, but I felt like the last 2 episodes were more shocking, and
Yeah.
now we're sort of coming off of a high.
Right.
I don't know how to feel for this
Right.
break that we have.
Yeah, we got a lot of things resolved, but, like, they weren't happy endings a lot of times. You know what I mean? It was like, it was kind of just
Well,
sad.
there's a couple. There's, her parents are sort of back together.
Right.
Okay.
My theory on that whole thing is, Cicely Tyson, Annalise's mom, had said, you really need to come more often because I might not be here the next time you come back.
Yeah.
And that just made me think like, oh dear, they're going to kill her and then she's going to have to have a relationship with her father.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's the only connection that she has. She sort of like scrapes at the bottom of the barrel every time she's in distress and she has to run home to her mom.
Yeah.
And I feel like it would crush her if her mom passed and then she was forced to have this relationship with her father. I mean, I hope it heals the relationship because there's still many things off about it.
Right.
Right.
But I think that would be like a logical way to go.
It could. I mean, they had sort of a bonding moment in the first time they were actually alone together for like an extended period of time. They had an actual conversation. There was like you were the same. Like there was a realization that they were more similar, and in some flaws. And I think that Annalise sort of saw that, which was good. I think that her dad made a great point to like show that it is bad. Like that is a part of me, and that's totally who I am, and I did this for me. But I see a lot of that in you, and just to be aware of that.
Because she did the exact same thing, and you can see it in Annalise's face when he says that. He's like, "Yeah, you're right. I didn't come back here for me, basically."
So we met the mom. Well, we knew the mom. We met the dad. Celestine, the sister. She has a hard life.
Yes.
I can see why she is mad at Annalise.
Where do you guys think the ages are for the?
I think
the Sibs?
maybe. Well, if we're going off of like acting, I feel like it could go either way. But I guess Annalise be the younger one.
I think Annalise is the younger one.
Interesting.
Yeah. And that the older one feels more responsible to stick around and take care of the mom.
Because
Also, because Annalise just left.
Yeah.
Usually the younger kid like feels the freedom to leave.
Yeah.
Right. That's fair. And that's actually a better point. Because I was thinking that Annalise could be older because then maybe like when the dad left, she was at like sort of a tougher place. And like the younger one maybe didn't know him as well. So it wasn't as heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But
or the older one stepped up and so Annalise
Right.
didn't.
Yeah, or it could be the other way, like where the older one was like more secure in like everything.
Goddamn.
You never know.
It was.
We'll have to keep watching.
I liked that portion.
Yeah.
I liked them going home. It was nice to see. They all called her fancy because she really is fancy. They're like,
I mean,
look at all that hair you have.
Michelle Obama? That was like our favorite line, I think, this episode.
Well, yeah, I mean, for like a small town, Tennessee, to a big city, like super high profile cases, like she's probably on TV all the time.
Sure.
She just got shot.
Yeah.
Her husband died.
Yeah. She's been in the news.
She's been a
little
lot.
bit.
Yeah, a lot happening.
So we talked about Wes. We talked about Annalise and her family. We talked about Bonnie and Frank.
Can we talk about Connor and Oliver?
Yeah, that sort of crushed me.
Yeah, that was unexpected coming from Oliver.
Why does Oliver not want to leave?
Because he wants to work for Annalise. He's like addicted to the rush, I think.
Really?
He
guess
wants
it's like
to work
getting
for
I think so.
her,
I mean, he
yeah.
quit his job, so
Because
he's got nothing to
he was hacking
do but
into that
hack
stuff without. They didn't know he was. He was like, "Don't be mad at me because I'm already in."
That's crazy. Like, little does he know that Connor was never addicted to drugs, and it was all because of Annalise. I feel like if he knew that information, it would be a completely different story.
Right.
He doesn't know anything, and that's why it's like. But I feel like he won't. If Connor finds out about this, he will not. They will not be able to recover from something.
I don't
like
think
that,
so either.
Which is really sad.
If Connor finds out about like him deleting the email?
No, yeah, if he finds out that Oliver deleted the email about being accepted to Stanford and then also calling them and saying never contact me.
It's a little aggressive. At the same time, I feel like, it would be the same scenario. Oliver would probably leave if he found out that Connor murdered someone or was a party to a
Well, this is like a
murder.
direct thing to him, though.
It's a very tangled relationship because we have to think back all the way to the inception of them. So their relationship was not based on honesty at all.
Right. I guess Connor has lied a lot, but it's never.
But also
whatever.
they broke
I don't know.
up. But also they broke up and Oliver got AIDS. Or HIV, sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's been like tennis back and forth between their lies and everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't know
Pretty
where.
destructive relationship, you could call it.
I mean, but they're so good when they're good. That's the thing that kills me the most. It's
Right.
like they're so great.
And Connor has changed so much. Like he genuinely cares about Oliver as opposed to his.
It's actually crushing.
Yeah.
I don't know where this could lead. And I feel like immediately after Oliver did it, and I'm sorry to say this, and Connor went down on him.
Right.
I feel like the guilt set in. Like he was like, oh my God, I have this amazing guy who just like loves me and wants me, even though all of this stuff had happened to me. And
Well, yeah, it's interesting. I feel like if they had been honest with each other from the get-go, maybe they would move. Because, for Oliver, it doesn't really seem like that big of a deal to change schools. It's like, I mean, Oliver obviously wouldn't want to because it's like, well, whatever, just get over it. Your life is not that bad. You know, Annalise is a tough boss, like, whatever. He doesn't know about the murder that could come crashing down.
Right.
So I think that's it's such a bigger reason to run away. And if there was that understanding for them, he might be like, okay, yeah, let's do this. I want to protect you from getting thrown in jail for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Or maybe Oliver does know how dangerous it is, and that's why he's so attracted to it.
Maybe. I mean, Connor was pretty dangerous when we first met him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
He seems to be attracted to, like the thrill.
Right.
Yeah.
the biggest scare from that Connor explained was Philip. And now that we know that Philip is not the killer,
Sure.
like that's public.
Well,
and
they don't know
helping them.
anything. The Keating four, or whoever is in the room, they're just like, we don't know what to believe. Do we believe this?
Right, but
Right.
it was on the news, like
Sure.
Philip, not the murderer. Caleb, yep.
Well, no, they were
Yeah,
like,
but they've seen it before where they take someone and completely twist the case around on them so
Right.
that they're in jail, a.k.a. Nate,
AKA Catherine.
a.k.a.
Yeah.
Catherine,
Like,
a.k.a.
you could place a murder on anyone. So
Yeah.
I think that they're still really unsure, and until they hear it from Philip and from Catherine,
Right.
they're gonna feel whatever they want to feel.
Yeah.
So I just think it's like so unfortunate how messy this is gonna get. And
It's good
on top
stuff.
of like worrying about
good
these
stuff.
two, we have Michaela to worry about, who had
I know,
sex with a
Michaela-
murderer
A serial killer.
and a gay guy. She had sex
Wow.
with a murderer and a gay guy. I feel so bad for her.
I feel so bad for her.
I do.
Multiple murderers. Asher killed
just
someone too.
Oh my god.
Shit.
She can't get enough of the murderers.
She
That's
loves
her
the
type.
murderers.
Wait, what?
Hey.
Girl.
Yeah.
Except Asher didn't mean to.
Yeah, well, I mean, he ran her over.
Yeah.
I feel like it was
He's
intentional.
still innocent in my eyes.
That
Yeah,
was.
He just in the moment killed someone.
But that was just like unbelievable to me because, so now we have Michaela to worry about. Clearly, she is not in a good place because she had trusted Caleb this entire time. And her having to call Annalise and tell her that Caleb was the one that was the informant, to which Annalise knew the entire time that Caleb was the informant. She didn't even need to know that information because she
was
had
like,
Philip.
I can know
Right.
how to handle this.
I am very nervous for her mental state and Wes's mental state. I feel like a lot of people are very messed up. And
Laurel, too. Because this is all her fault. That
You're right.
Annalise ran away and now Frank's missing.
yeah, well, she's distraught over that. They'll find Frank. They will find him. But Asher comforting Michaela and Bonnie not knowing that Michaela and Asher hooked up.
Oh, the tangled webs of weave.
That's the thing. We solve one thing, and then the lies get layered,
Yeah.
and it makes this huge knot that takes us the entire season to untangle.
Right.
And they're setting us up. This is life.
Yep.
This is the show that you chose to watch.
Yeah.
Well, hey, props to Asher. He had a huge come up.
Right, he
From
really
Bonnie
did.
to Michaela.
Like, I was
Yeah.
like, hey.
Wow.
Great job,
well
Asher.
done.
Great season then
Kudos.
for him. Except being left stranded.
Yeah. Learning from Frank, clearly.
Oh my God. Did we talk about everyone?
Did we?
I'm just like, again, like, this was not an episode of Oh My Gods. It was an episode of Sense.
Right.
And
Well, I mean, it's
then-
more conclusive.
Well, I think
Sort of.
I think last finale it was much more explosive
Right.
because someone that we were invested in died.
Yeah.
And this time around, we know that Caleb is the killer.
Right.
Or, I mean, they basically spelled
Right.
it out. And for him to be dead, it was like, oh.
Okay, so this is
Well,
like
yeah.
an end of this case, hopefully.
Well, I feel like they're still going to be falling out unless they flash forward sometime and sort of
Yeah.
like explain what had happened. But we need to find out where some of these people are
Right.
and what happened to them because it seemed like everyone just disappeared.
Ooh, what if Frank killed Caleb?
Yeah.
Oh,
Made
And
it
then
look like a
booked out.
suicide.
You're so
As
right,
like
Jamie.
an alibi, as like a thank you, Annalise, don't hate me forever. I'm gonna leave,
But when they want
parting
Caleb to go to
gift.
jail,
Well, no, because then they just set it up like a suicide. Then have to do the whole like rigmarole of the trial. Like they can just
Right.
skip that. Like
So
for
but
him
the
to
thing
commit
that-
suicide
Yeah.
conveniently when all this bad PR happens.
Yeah.
You know?
But then, so does Catherine get out of jail if the real killer's dead and like all these things?
Well, I think
now
that
Caleb's not alive.
Since she testifies and since Philip testifies,
But Caleb can't defend himself, or like, you know what I mean?
You're right, but if there's enough evidence against him, then you can pin it on him.
Right. And then it's
Does
just
that
sort
work
of
though for Catherine to be able to get out of jail when the real person is dead?
I think it's obviously going to affect her because she's in love with him. So he killed himself or whatever. We don't know.
Yeah.
So
Or Frank killed him. I like that theory.
Yeah,
Frank killed somebody.
I think he did.
Either
Especially
Probably.
because him and Bonnie spent so much time having that conversation, and it was so slow, and it was like, please don't do something stupid. I know what you're going to do. And I think Bonnie knew the falling out of this. She knew what Annalise's reaction was going to be. She knew why she ran away.
Right.
And she knew that Annalise was going to say, well, we need to fire him.
Right.
So I
That's
feel
why
like
she had him leave.
Yeah, I feel like this whole plan was devised, and I hope that we see it step by step next season. Any final thoughts?
final thoughts, and the Stacy Buzz may have mentioned this. I think that we're gonna start off next season with Annalise defending Philip in like a trial.
Yeah.
Ooh,
For a little bit.
I like that.
I like that too, guys. Sterling,
Yeah, crazy.
any last words?
I'm just going to read this tweet about a Fitbit.
Okay, go ahead.
It says, from Queen Nene says, don't let that Fitbit get y'all caught up. Caleb learned the hard way.
True story.
So for all of you guys out there counting your steps.
Yeah, if you're gonna murder someone,
and then murder
do not
someone
take
on your
the tech.
11,000th step of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Just know you're being
No tracking
tracked.
devices.
Yeah.
Yeah, who's the other person that tweeted about?
Oh yeah, another good tweet. At Rhodey Muse Prime. Just watching the 11 o'clock news, waiting for more information on the murder of Wallace Mahoney.
Good stuff.
Love
yeah.
that one.
But that was like right after the premiere, so that was quick tweeting.
Yeah, quick tweeting. Great job.
Well, we have to wait until the fall. For
I
this
know.
to
What is
pick
it?
up.
September for season 3?
September or October? I don't know,
Jeez.
but I'm gonna be sweating
Wow.
until then.
And then what do we
That
get?
is
5
not
episodes
soon.
again, or 6 episodes?
I hope we get more than we did this season.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can't believe it's only been 15 because it feels like such a big part of my life.
Well,
Like maybe like the stress of watching the show is just so intense.
Listen,
that I
It's taking years
remember it.
off. It really is.
But-
Like
like
gray
I said,
hair.
like I said at the top of the
Intense.
show, this show is over. The catch is starting. It's filling
right.
in. It's filling in for the time slot next
Good
week.
stuff.
So I think I'm gonna have to check out the catch because it looks like a ton of mystery, and I feel like I'm gonna need something to fill this void.
And I love Adam
Definitely.
Braverman.
Love
so it's
the
just
intrigue.
And it's perfect.
great. I'll miss you guys though.
I'll miss you
Yeah,
too.
very sad.
Aw.
So sad.
Hey, John Blake, where can the people find you?
You guys can find me conveniently at Hey John Blake on Twitter and Instagram.
Hey. Congratulations to Stacy again on completely predicting this episode. You can find me at Sterling Kate.
And you can find me at Jillian Leff on Twitter and Instagram, at Jilly Leff on Snapchat, and one quick shout out. My mom's whole gym crew watches our show, and they're having
snap.
a screening
What?
tomorrow,
No way.
I think.
I love your mom's crew.
So
Nice.
shout out to the gym buddies.
The gym buddies.
Thanks
Working
for
on your
keeping up with
fitness.
us.
The
Follow us on
Leffs.
Twitter, guys.
Yeah.
Tweet us
Stuff.
while the season's off.
Very cool.
Until the fall. Bye.
Yeah.
Miss you guys
Bye. Happy
already.
St. Patty's.
Oh yeah. Forgot.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.